2, 3, 4. Good morning, besties. Wow, good morning. That's crazy because it's literally 8 o'clock at night.
Bitch, 9 p.m.
No, literally, it's so late. But welcome to another episode of I Am Besties. I'm your host, Vanessa.
I'm your host, Isis.
And it's crazy that I literally had to think about my name. What the fuck is up, you guys?
It's been one of those days. It's a Monday.
It's definitely one of those days for me.
Yeah. It's a Monday. It's one of those days. And I feel like for some reason this weekend felt like it flew the fuck by. I feel like I did not have time to rest at all.
Yeah.
Like at all. Oh, and also we want to shout out to Stephanie. Woo-hoo. She is not here today because she's recovering because she ran a half motherfucking marathon with her motherfucking bad self. Period. Her, Caesar, and Yosavo. So shout out to them, Jess and Carlos.
Yep. She hurt her knee just a tiny bit, so it hurts for her to like sit right now. So she's just sitting today out. But everybody send her some love and some healing vibes so she can feel better. And we'll hold it down while she's gone.
Yeah, and we'll do the best that we can.
We'll do the best we can.
Hey, we'll do the best with what I got.
Literally,
like Mariah Carey.
Literally.
No, that's literally how I feel right now. How was your weekend?
It was good. On Friday, I watched a football game.
I
know.
Football?
It's part of my personality now. I realized on Friday that I actually do like football because I've seen games before in the past and they're always pretty fun, right? Like I think football games are really fun to watch.
Yeah.
But I've never had like a team, right, that like I like.
Who's your team now?
Look, hear me out. This is gonna sound so wrong, but maybe not wrong. It's gonna sound like I don't know what's the proper word. You guys can help me figure it out. But when I watched football games, it's because my uncle, my mom's brother, he would barbecue, right? Like every time the game would be on, he would barbecue and he'd invite us, so we'd go and watch the games there, whatever. And he's a 49ers fan. So obviously to me, I was like, okay,
49ers.
Usually when you like a team, it's by association, right? Your family, your parents like it, so you just like go for it. Unless, you want to go out and find your own team. But there's this guy I've been like getting to know, and he's like a diehard like football fan. And it's funny because it just kind of casually came up like if I had to go for a team, like what team would I go for? And I was like, honestly, like if I had to, like I'd probably just pick the 49ers because like again I just explained why. Yeah. And he got hyped. He was like, "Fuck yeah, that's my team!" Like he was
stars aligning.
He was all in. No, literally. And but he's like a diehard fan. So there was a game on Friday, and he told me like, just to let you know right now that if our team loses, don't expect to hear from me afterwards because I'm going to be so upset. And I was like, that's fine. So I was like, you know what? Me being like a good, I don't know what I am to him. Just a good, friend.
A good person.
A good person. I was like, you know what? I was like, let me watch the game because I want to anticipate, if he's going to be.
She said, I need to know if I need to stay up at 8 or go to sleep past 9.
No, literally. I was like, let me know. Like if he's going to, I just want to know, if he's going to be upset or if not. We haven't been talking about that long, but anyway. So I watched the game, and literally it was the most exhilarating game I've seen in a long time because like it was just like high lows. Like literally the amount of heart attacks I almost got. Like literally like the prayers I did. Like it was just so crazy. It was such a good fucking game, and literally we won like in the last like 4 minutes. So it was
we.
I'm talking about me and the 49ers. Me and my team. And it was just so fucking good. Like I realized like, wow, like I could genuinely like fucking be about this, like go to the bars and watch the games, buy a jersey, maybe go watch a game live. But not about him. Like that's the annoying part. I don't want you guys to think that I'm like, oh my gosh, she's talking to this guy and she likes him, so she's like trying to be like him. No, I genuinely
found interest.
Found the interest, and I'm not gonna lie, of course, was it thanks to him? Probably. I wouldn't have watched the game if that didn't happen. But now I'm just like, even like whatever happens with this dude, because it's going good so far. But whatever happens, I'm just gonna be grateful that I found like a new hobby, so to say, through that experience of like getting to know him.
So should I go to your house on Sundays for carne asadas?
Hell yeah, dude. I'm gonna be on. So yeah, definitely I'm excited to watch the games now.
Damn, now you being a 49ers fan. Next time we see her on the episode, she'll have the jersey, the
beanie, no,
the
dude.
shoulder pads.
No, and dude, literally, I was like, Saul, I texted Saul, I was like, I know it's probably too late for this year, but how can like we like do it so that we could get invited to the Super Bowl next year?
Not her trying to plot.
Not me trying to plot already. I was like, shit, do I gotta talk about football in here and create some clips or something?
Hey, you
I was
know
like,
what?
I'm gonna do what I gotta do because I looked up those tickets. $8 fucking grand, bitch, to go to the Super Bowl. That's crazy.
Do you know like the suite costs like $1 million or like 1.5 million to get a suite? It's like a $1.5 million.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's literally insane. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? You literally spent $1 million to watch these people play from like the high up. Like if I'm getting a motherfucking suite, I better be on the fucking floor with them. I better be fucking hot. You feel me? Like they better be passing me on the sideline.
Put me in, coach.
Like at the very least, like $1 million. No, that would upset me.
He's like, she's gonna need her celebrity shot.
Period. I'm gonna be there like, hike. Hey, but it's all good. Hey, we'll work on it. You know what? Yeah. Let me go learn some names.
I'm gonna manifest. I'm gonna make it happen, besties. So y'all better, when we start talking about football, I need y'all to act like y'all give a shit. I need y'all to comment and share. And I need y'all to become football girlies with me and just share your testimony everywhere and be like, thanks to Besties. I love football. So we could be at the Super Bowl next year.
Right. So basically send an email to ESPN titled like the Bestie sent me, aka Vanessa. So at the very least get her a ticket.
Yeah, go flood their social media, go comment, that I want to go really bad and that I deserve it.
Or should they just comment on the players and see if you get there?
Anybody. I'm about to slide in everybody's players DM. I'll be like, what's good?
Oh my god, I remember DJs, like did you see the Coachella lineup that was released?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay, so the headliners are Doja, Lana Del Rey. Oh fuck, I don't even know who the other person is.
Oh, you know what? I think I briefly saw it. And I think somebody was like, damn, they ran out of people to invite or something like that.
I was honestly surprised that like Doja was headlining. Not that she's not that good, because I actually I went to Coachella last year for that one day. Because I wanted to see her perform. Wait, am I lying? I think I might be lying. I didn't go that day, but I really liked her performance. Like it was top tier. She is like she's a different level of a performer. I feel like a lot of rap girls, they just might stand on stage and maybe that's their performance. But Doja Cat literally dances her ass off. There was production, there was execution. Like even her like movements are sharp. Like she's just so fierce. She's like a rapper pop star. I would definitely categorize her like as both because she can sing, dance, rap.
I'm about to look up some of her YouTube videos and see.
Bitch, she goes off. Oh, Tyler the Creator's the one. So it's Lana, Tyler, Doja Cat. So it's like a pretty diverse group. I feel Peso Pluma is gonna be there for all the Mexicans. I'm like me, Ice Spice for all the Isises.
Okay.
I'm excited. I would want to go just for her, just to see her shake some ass.
Doja.
Yeah. No, Ice Spice. Oh, she's a baddie with her buddy friends. I for sure want to see her.
That song that's been going on Twitter where it's like, the one that
you think you the shit, bitch. You're not even the fart. I'll be going hard.
No, dude, it's so insane that you said that your boss's daughter told him.
Oh my god.
Like, that just had me. You know what? Since you told me that, I've thought about it a couple more times throughout my day, and I'll just start laughing.
You're like
I woke up sad the other day, and I thought about that, and I just started laughing, and I was like, you know what?
It's gonna be a good day.
Yeah, like literally. Let me text my mother right now. Let me tell her. Whenever she makes me mad, I'm about to tell her.
Like, you think you're the shit, bitch? You're not even the fart.
How would you say that in?
Hey, pensás que eres la mierda, ni sacas un pedo or some shit. No, so let me tell you guys like why Vanessa's cracking up. So obviously Ice Spice is a cultural phenomenon, like she is making moves, like her lyrics, trying to decipher like what does she mean by you think you're the shit, you're not even the far, like what does that mean, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And so one of the people that I work with in my job, she's a middle-aged woman, and she's like, my 25-year-old daughter like left me a note on my pillow saying, you think you're the shit. She's like, you're not shit, you're the fart. And I started cracking the fuck up because I'm like, oh my God, I know exactly what she's saying. Because literally, me and Marisol, shout out to Marisol, we were literally the whole day, that day before, like the day before, I sort of got from the morning, we were like, we learned the whole verse. That little 10-second clip, we learned the verse. So I was laughing and I'm like, may I interject? I'm like, I think I could decipher it. What she meant to say was, excuse my French, you think you're the shit, you're not even the fart. And everyone was like, oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you. She's like, yeah, it was one of the Spice Girls, like the Spice Girls, they say. And I'm like, Ice Spice, she's a rapper, not one of the Spice Girls. Like, oh, I was wondering why the Spice Girls would say that. And I was just like,
oh God, that was hilarious. No, the fact that her own daughter wrote her a note
on her pillow.
On her pillow, like, that's insane. Like, white people are built different.
White people are built different.
My mom would have beat my ass.
I'm like, at least she left out the part because did you think you're the shit, bitch? You're not even the
at
part.
Least.
Right. And I was like, let me omit that. She's like, I didn't know whether to like slap her or is she giving me a compliment or what. And I was just like, I mean, I'm gonna leave that up to you. I'm gonna leave that up to your interpretation because I don't know your dynamic.
Because obviously you thought it was a good thing, so let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, I was just like, you know what? You're the shit and the fart. You know what? So you do what you gotta do. Like, yeah, no.
No, she thought she ate.
She thought she ate. But speaking of like dynamics with like, white people and their parents, I was thinking about a concept because over the weekend I was chatting with my family. Shout out to my family. So I don't know how does your family deal with like family conflict? Are you guys like the type of family that you kind of just drop it, don't talk about it, and move forward? Like, or you cut people off? Like, what do you think is like the dynamic in your family?
Are you talking about like immediate family or extended family?
Yeah, I would say who you would consider your close family. Like, whatever.
For me, that's just like my parents and my sisters.
Oh, that's everything else. Cousins. Like,
no, everything else is extended. Like, I'm close to them. Like, I kick it. But I feel like it's been years since we've had drama.
Oh, really?
I feel like maybe when we were growing up, there was a lot of family drama for sure. But I think it's been years now. I feel like my family has definitely has entered like their peace era.
Wow.
Where like we haven't fought. Like it's been like kumbaya. Like we get together, we laugh, we vibe. Like it's been great.
Yeah.
So my extended family, like there hasn't been like any drama. My immediate family, it just depends.
But are you guys like really close? Like your extended family, like you see them on regularly?
Yeah, like there's like at least a party once a month. Okay. Like, yeah, we get together very regularly.
Like de alguien, el bautizo, baby shower.
Literally, somebody got a job promotion. There we go. Like literally, yeah, it's like that. Yeah. Like close family. I would say if it's something dumb, we won't talk about it. We'll just like move past it. We'll just start talking like nothing happened. But if it's something deep, we will like sit down and talk about it. Yeah.
My family were super close. Like I would consider my family like my cousins, my aunts, because I do see them pretty regularly, like every week, and then they all live in a certain area, so they see each other like 3-4 times a week. Every week. So I would consider us like that would be my close family outside of like my sisters. And we honestly all get along really well, but you know how sometimes like because my family's all women, like I'm gonna say that you guys are gonna hear that throughout the time I'm on here, but my family is generally like 95% women. And so you know how sometimes there's just like misinterpretations of events. And so we all got together this weekend and like we're sitting down talking and we're trying to like work through things, and it wasn't like they weren't even serious things, like it was just things that I'm just like, damn, sometimes this is what you need to like just sit down and clear the air, be like, all right, you said this, you said that, well, you also said this and this and that, clear, and then you can move forward. And I'm like, would that dynamic be different if my family was more, heavy on men? And then it started making me think about like the concept of Marianismo. Are you familiar with that?
No.
So Marianismo, I'm gonna get the definition so that no one
can all be educated.
I'm like, no one misinterprets what I have to say. Let me see. So Marianismo, what is Marianismo? So Marianismo is a twisted perception of the female gender as a one-dimensional being with specific characteristics often attributed to femininity, emphasizing the role of women as family and home-centered, and encourages passivity, self-sacrifice, and chastity. A Marianista orientation depicts women in nurturing roles and prescribes respect for patriarchal values. Marianismo is rooted in Christian values, Christian Catholicism, Judeo-Christian values brought to Latin America during colonization, which define women as nurturing figures and spiritual pillars of the family. It is a construct of the expected female gender roles based on the Virgin Mary. So it's essentially how women embody that Virgin Mary. So the idea like of family, of chastity, like virginity, right? Self-sacrifice. So it's you do everything for the good of the family, for the order of the family, and you have sisters, so and you have a father, and I didn't grow up, with a male father with a male figure in my house. But as I started thinking about like, I'm like, oh, I used to think, oh, I didn't fall into Marianismo because I never had a dad. I never had to serve my dad. I never had to do this because my dad said this. I never like had to dress a different way because of my dad. So I'm like, oh, that wasn't something that I practiced. But then I sat back and thought about it, and I'm like, well, no, because I do think when I'm at home, there's certain things that I'm like, that I gender the roles, right? I'm like, I do cook for my husband. He doesn't even know how to cook. No shade to babe. Like because he can't cook. He can't really like, there's just certain things that, yes, I am following like in these patriarchal values. And like I started thinking, okay, how does that affect me? So I started thinking about what are my experiences with Marianismo. And then a phrase that came to mind was, calladita te ves más bonita. And I feel like that phrase exemplifies the idea of like making yourself smaller, shrinking in a Latino household, right? It's like, oh, you don't know, you're just a woman. Or, oh, go do that you have to do that for your husband. You have to do that for a man. Or, ya te puedes casar. Or, ay, servirle a tu esposo, servirle a tu marido, servirle a tu novio. Like, it's always centered about men, And it's just like, those are things that I practice today that I did learn from little, even though I lived in a matriarchal household. Do you have like similar experiences or, thinking like, oh, I have to serve my dad or I have to do this for my dad or.
No, my mom took good care of him. She never made it our responsibility to serve a man. I feel like my mom has always been very the opposite. She's always depended on my mom financially for everything. She never got to, have a career, have hobbies, find passions, kind of figure herself out outside of motherhood. So I feel like my mom was always big on, live your life for yourself, find a career that you like, um, always put yourself first, never depend on a man financially. And my dad was the same way. Because my parents' marriage was always rocky. And I guess my dad always seen from like a young, seen my mom because he married her pretty young, how like unhappy she was. And he would always tell us too, like, I don't want you guys to like depend on a man. He would be very like, those ideas weren't like outspoken to us, like they weren't like said out loud to us. But I feel like you still learn by example, and although my parents wanted different things for us, I did grow up seeing my mom be like subservient and submissive and all about a man, and those ideas were embedded in me subconsciously. So I do think that regardless of what is being said, I feel like the example is the most important thing at the end of the day. When it comes to like, for example, me, like that I'm raising Ezra, I've already learned very early on that it doesn't matter what I say to him, like it has to be an example or he's not going to learn it. And so definitely like thinking back to that, I do think that those values are also in me as well. Like when I had boyfriends in the past, like I would serve them, I would like to cook for them, I wouldn't mind cleaning, doing like the woman, and I said in quotes, like the role of a woman. And it's wild because like it's so seamless now in our culture that it feels like natural.
Yeah.
We're not taught to question these things. So I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I didn't like it. I know there are women out there that are like, fuck that, I'm not gonna serve a man, whatever, etc., etc. And no shade to them, obviously do what feels right to you. But me, it never bothered me. Like, I actually enjoy cooking. I enjoy cooking very much. So, me cooking for my boyfriends, is something that I enjoy doing. Cleaning on the other hand, though, yeah, that was something else. Yeah, I never really lived with an ex, well, for a little bit of time. So, I mean, cleaning was a thing, but thankfully I was with someone that also pulled their weight when it came to cleaning. So, I mean, that wasn't really ever like an issue for me. But it is, I do see some things in my life as well that I think definitely like have to do with that Marianismo kind of vibes for sure.
And it's not a judgment on.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, it's not a judgment on, like you said, women performing typical stereotypical gender roles. It's not it's not a critique of that.
Yeah.
It's
more an observation.
It's an observation. Obviously, you know, Marianismo is a social construct, so it was created by society. And what I thought was kind of funny is when this was coined was like in 1973, so or 75, and it's like parallel to the second wave of like feminism, where it's like women wanted to, you know, rebel, go outside, work, just be everything opposed to what was the traditional woman. And even us, like when we think, well, how do we practice Marianismo, or how do we perform that, right? It's like you say, like you're like, well, my mom didn't go to school, she didn't have any hobbies, she dedicated her life. So it's the seeing women as one dimensional, as only mothers, as only caregivers, as only homemakers, and which is fine. This is like, again, it's not a critique. It's more just like, these are things, like you said, they're natural to us. Yeah, it's natural. It's natural to want to come and, oh yeah, let me serve my man. Oh yeah, you know, oh, when I have kids, I'm gonna stop, or I'm gonna do this, or it's just like your life is formed around the concept of family, whether it's the family you came from or the family that you're gonna create, but it's still sacrificing you and the betterment of you for the good of the family. Like I had a friend who wanted to pursue you know, her career, and wanted to kind of do something that was outside of what was very typical for her family, because her family's big very, very religious. And so she was moving far, and it's just like there was kind of like that fight, I think, internally of her. She's like, do I do this for the betterment of my career, or do I stay for the betterment of my family? And so in that moment, she had to really, you know, decide what was going to be more important, the collective or the individual. And she had to make that choice, like, is it me or them? And I think too, we think of that as Latinos. Like, I constantly think, oh, you know, my job's in Sacramento. I'm like, I don't want to move to Sacramento. I'm gonna be so far from my mom, my sisters, you know, like I don't want to do that. Like, I have to think what's the best for my family. And my family, I think of everybody else. I don't think like, well, Sacramento, there's a lot of jobs in my field, there's this, there's that, there's proximity, it's just, I'm not thinking of me, I'm thinking, well, how is this going to help my family? So that can even limit you in a career. Like, has that ever happened to you, where maybe you've thought like, I need to be near my family, or now that you're a mother, or just like how maybe you sacrifice some of your dreams, if you've sacrificed any of your dreams, really thinking like, well, I have to do this for the betterment of my child?
Honestly, I haven't had to, because I think having my son made me realize how important family is to me. Not that I don't want to have a career or, you know, pursue my goals, but I feel like right now, the stage of my life that I'm in, I get the most fulfillment from bonding with my family. So that's where that's my number one right now. And I feel like for me, it always goes back to, you know, thinking about it a bit more philosophical, you know, what we're on here on earth for. And while I do think that a career and, you know, hobbies and things like that are very beautiful and fulfilling, I feel like at the end of the day, for me personally, human interaction, human connection is what matters to me more than anything. You know, because we can accomplish many things, but at the end of the day, if you don't share with anyone, it kind of feels like, you know, I mean, it's good for you to prove things to yourself. I could do this, you know, feel fulfilled. But at the end of the day, you really want to share those things, right? Like, you know, you work for yourself and for your family, right? You know, why do you want money? Why do you want time? Why do you want, you know, the things that you want? You know, of course, I'm not saying it has to be for others. Of course, it should be for yourself first more than anything. But it's funner when it's shared, right? Yeah. So, to me, I feel like having my son definitely like has brought me closer to my family. It's made me like slow to anger, quick to forgive, more patient. It's just really deepened the connections in my life because of this unconditional love I have for my son and he has for me. It's definitely opened up my perspective to how I relate to my family. Does it make pursuing things harder, of course, because my son's my priority. You know, I feel like any good mother is going to feel that their kid is their number one. Right. So I think that's why I always try to advocate for really feeling ready and knowing a child is something that you want to bring into your life, because it will be something that's going to have to be your number one. You know, you're no longer going to be able to be spontaneous, or, you know, think everything's going to have to be planned. You know, you're not going to be able to, like, there's this speech that talked, it's like a college speech, and it was like I don't remember exactly who was giving the speech, but it was she was pretty much like an entrepreneur, she was a mom, she was a teacher, and like she had like all these different titles, and she was saying how people always praise her like for juggling everything, and she says like people always like, how do you do it, you know? And she says like it's inevitable, like when I am succeeding in my job, I am failing my children at home. When I am succeeding at being a mother, I am failing my business, or I'm failing it's constantly having to take like what's important to me right now, like what matters more, like weighing the pros and the cons. Like you can't be excelling at everything all the time. Right. And I feel like that stood out to me as well. You know, it's really just about what makes you feel good. Were we conditioned to be a certain way? Sure. You know, where do we have I guess just that conditioning, right? Like, do we have it? Yes, of course. But I feel like when you're older and you're kind of taking like note of everything, I think it really just comes down to like what matters to you. You know, if it's a career, then pursue that. If it's your family, if that's what is the number one thing to you, then follow that. If it's both, finding like a good balance. Like right now when you were saying this about like, you know, you wouldn't want to go to Sacramento because of your family, I wanted to ask you like, is if your family, like, let's say, do you want to, like, let's put like the whole family on pause. Like I guess if family wasn't like a big thing for you, would you have gone to Sacramento?
If I wasn't married, yeah, I would have. I think I would have pursued that.
Definitely, you would have moved.
Yeah, I think if I wasn't like, if I didn't have my own family and didn't think about my family, I would. I mean, I did go to Sacramento for a period when I was in a fellowship, and I did live there for 3 months. So I would definitely relocate for the betterment of my career, for like the, you know, to advance myself, like professional growth. I would have done that.
What do you feel like you're gonna miss out on if you do take that step?
What did I miss out on if I don't go, or if I do go?
If you do go.
In terms of here?
In terms of here with your family. Because I'm assuming Brian would follow you if he wouldn't.
Would he follow me? Would you follow me? Yeah. I don't think he would. I think where we're at now, it doesn't make sense really to move. But I would only move to Sacramento for the network, and again, like the professional growth opportunities and the career opportunities, and the proximity to, like, you know, being where legislation moves. So there's people in turn who like are either important, are experts and are subject matter experts and have a lot of knowledge, people that I like mentors. I feel like I would be able to have that more, a greater access at that if I was in that area. So if I was like totally single and I didn't have a close relation to my family, I would.
And by, you know, being in Sacramento and having all that you just said, what would be your goal with connecting? Like, do you want to someday be a politician? Would you want us to create laws? Would
I'm
you
like,
want to
not if I'm here on the Besties. I'm either going to pull up this episode. Do you remember you're talking shit about XYZ? No, that's not my goal. And I wouldn't move to Sacramento forever. Like, I would go for a year or 2 years. Yeah. Like, I feel like that if I not had these things, I would probably do that 2 years. But I can truthfully say, I mean, I'm very fortunate. I do have a job in Sacramento. I do work in you know, live in Southern California. I've worked under politicians. So it's just like, I don't feel like I missed out.
Yeah,
you know?
The point I'm trying to get at is like if you were 80 on your deathbed and you thought about your life, would you regret not taking that leap of like, do you think you'd regret it?
No, because I think I'm pretty successful, like without having like either connections or like I didn't. My move there was not necessarily instrumental to my career.
Okay.
You get me? Like I was able to progress. That was a plus, my fellowship, but my job after, I mean, it was literally like she just really liked me and she took a chance. You know, personality hires work.
Definitely. And I truly believe that when you're destined to do something, you're gonna be pulled to it. Like if you had something big to do in that field that, you know, God just needed you to move some things around and just use you to like create some change or something, you would be very called and pulled to move to Sacramento, you know?
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not saying that your job is not important now. Like I'm pretty sure you feel great about it and you're fulfilled, but you know, you're able to kind of weigh those pros and cons, you know. And I don't think that makes you like less of a woman or less of like or more of a woman either. You know what I mean? It's just your path. And I think that's why Marianismo to me is uh it's I feel conflicting emotions about it because I at least when it comes to like the older generations, because it's all they know, they were never given like the liberty to explore, you know. They've always had to be in a sense like tied to a man to survive,
right?
Especially like the family that I come from, like all my tias, like all my extended family, like they're all just stay-at-home wives, you know. And when I talk to them about like have had conversations like if they had ambitions or if they had like any things that they were interested in like when they were young, they never did. To them, their happiness always came from their children being at home, and they lived very fulfilled lives. And even now, you know, like I see them, they're always smiling, they're content, you know, they've made a good life for themselves, you know. And like and I struggle with that because I understand like the newer generation, right? You know, we want to feel more independent. We want to be able to go after our careers and do all these things that we, of course, like if you want to do that, do it. Like I'm glad that we're in a generation that allows that for us, that we're not like back in the day, you know, having to deal with a fucking man 24/7. Like, so I'm super happy to be born in this era and have like that choice. But I do think also now that I am a mother, if I were in that era, like I do feel myself like I would be very fulfilled regardless if I didn't have the opportunity to. Just because me personally, and maybe this is a conditioning talking right now.
Yeah, no, but it's your experience.
I love tending to my son. I read this quote one time that talked about being a mother. It really teaches you about selflessness because you're in the constant service of someone 24/7. And that really touched me because my son, you know, he depends on me like 100%. And I have to do everything for him, cook, clean him, you know, like take him places, and his social interactions are up to me. Like everything, every aspect of his life is up to me, and I constantly have to be making the good choices for his life. And it could feel a little overwhelming at times, especially when I'm not making the best choices for my life in the sense of like waking up early enough, you know, eating healthy enough so like my energy's low, you know. So it's like if I'm not taking care of myself, I can't show up like 100% like for my son, but I do it regardless. And I think that I think about how Jesus and God, you know, used to they create miracles, right? When Jesus walked the earth, supposedly all he did was sit with people and create miracles and be of service for others, you know, in love and light. And how, you know, God said he created us in his image, and like the best thing you can do is be of service for others. Like that is like the way you get like the most fulfillment out of life. Yes, you know, doing things for yourself is good, but you'll get the most satisfaction from giving. And I've seen that in my life, like when you give a gift or when you're hanging out with someone and you create something with someone, like I feel personally more like good when I'm doing those kinds of things. So it's nice to kind of have that experience with my son where I'm like, okay, like I'm doing all of these things for him, and seeing his little face light up and feeling how good I feel. It oddly makes it easier for me to serve others, like to be serving with my parents, to be serving with my friends, to be serving with my sisters, you know, like it trickles into everything else. And I feel more calm, I feel more at ease, I feel more as opposed to kind of like, you know, when you're growing up and your mom used to be like, "Ve lava los trastes," and then be like, "Ahorita, like do it right now," and you'd be frustrated, "I don't want to fucking do it," you know, like you'd be mad because it's like you're being forced to do things. And being a parent has definitely taught me like no one's forcing me to do this. Like I got pregnant, you know, this I decided to have my son, and he's here and I love him, and it's giving me a different perspective of what being of service is. And so to me, I think that I've honestly told myself like I would like to work because I have something that I'm interested in,
Mm-hmm.
but I never want to work because I have to. Like, I need to
I don't
survive.
dream of. Don't tell me. I was asking what my dream job is because I don't dream of labor.
I don't dream of working. Like, I have dreams of doing like cool, fun shit. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
this pod is fucking amazing. I just happen to get paid for it, which is a
Mm-hmm.
plus. You know, but I would do it regardless.
Right.
Um, and that's like if I meet a man and he wants to be like, babe, stay home, bitch, I'm gonna stay home. Like, I'll
you don't
cook,
have to beg me.
I'll cook, I'll clean. Shoot, I don't mind it, you know.
Yeah.
And honestly, and I do like, for example, like Hugo, dude, like he's a big cleaner. Like he loves to clean.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I feel like this generation too, like men are also becoming more like
there's a shift.
Yeah, the shift of like, okay, it's not all
roles
on
are
one
not
man
so
now.
gendered,
Exactly.
right.
Like men are, I'm noticing that men are liking to have a skincare routine now. They're liking to like take care of their bodies, take care of their homes, take care of their nails. Like, you know, they're becoming more kind of like them, right? For example, just how we can easily say Marianismo about women, men have also been taught
Machismo.
Like machismo, exactly, where it's like no crying, you know, don't do that because that's gay, you know, don't hug your friends, like, you know, just all this kind of very like toxic way of thinking that has also affected them, like on the flip side, right? They're also unlearning as well. Right. So it's kind of nice to see the the way things are changing now. But like you said earlier, like it's not a judgment, it's just more like an observation, right? Like just how things constantly like are shifting in the way people are thinking, the way people are relating to each other. Hello, besties. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. This year, I'm proud of finally moving out on my own. I genuinely think that it's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, but had been afraid to do so. But I'm genuinely happy that I took that leap of faith, and I'm so happy with myself. I feel like I had courage, like I'm willing to stand on my own 2 feet, and I'm genuinely proud of myself. And I'm excited for where that journey is taking me. It feels like once the new year comes around, everyone is obsessed with changing ourselves instead of appreciating what we are already doing right. Maybe you finally organized that room you've been needing to organize or didn't eat out as much as you used to. Whatever you did this year, you need to give yourself a round of applause. Let therapy help you find your strength so you can ditch the extreme resolutions and make changes that really stick. Therapy has genuinely helped me so much regarding my emotions. I feel like whenever it comes to making a decision about my life, my emotions take over, whether it's fear, whether it's feelings of unworthiness, feelings of incapability, and have always stopped me from making changes and leaps. But I generally feel like therapy has helped me sort through my emotions and my feelings about myself and has allowed me to create the changes I want in my life. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. If you're just like me who can't seem to have enough time to go to a physical office space, you'll love that BetterHelp is entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit betterhelp.com/IEnBesties today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/IEnBesties.
To your point, I also think, remember, it's just like your first impression nurturing. So like I could definitely see why Marianismo would be something that maybe like you fall and you say that you perform these under that. But and again, it's not a critique. Like I do want to distinguish the concept of Marianismo and performing it, you know? Like when I was thinking of Marianismo, I was thinking about when I don't have, you know, I do have brothers, but they're younger than me, but I didn't live with them. But like, let's say you're the older sister or you're the younger sister and you have all brothers, you know, like
and
how do you,
to,
and you're, and how are you being forced to like clean up after, I'm like, do I'm gonna grab that?
No, it's fine.
Sorry. I'll start that over.
No, you're fine.
Like when you, when you're a sister and you have older brothers, younger brothers, and you're the only female, like you're the only, you know, female sibling. What do you prefer? What are you asked to do? Oh, cook for your brother, clean up after your brothers. So you're talking about,
so Marianismo is more like the force, the force aspect of it.
It's more about seeing women as only the role of mothers. It's not a critique on mothers. Okay. It has nothing to do with you being a mom, but at the same time, because you're a mom, you do all the XYZ, you know, but it's more about how, because me, like, let's say me, I don't have any kids, right? I don't have any kids. I'm a sister. How, as me, right? if I chose to leave to Sacramento, how would that change my family dynamic? My family is dependent on me. Maybe my mom requires me to pay some bills, so I need to sacrifice so I can help my family that. Or if I have brothers, oh, yeah, your brothers, they can go out, they can go out, they could go do this. They don't need to clean, they don't need to do laundry.
Stay out late.
They could stay out late, but you can't because you better not be having sex. Si no sabes cocinar, no te puedes casar. If you don't do this, you're not a good enough woman. It's about being the good girl. The whole, so it's like, how does that then translate and how does that affect, right? Like when I think of like, let's say some of my older sisters, I have a sister who's, much older than me.
Yeah.
And she had a child when she was young, but she had to help become part of the household. Like even though my mom was, single mother holding it down, my sister, yes, she had to give up and help contribute as part of the household and had to stay and for a long time live with my mom, like probably past her 30s, because she wanted to help the family. And it wasn't until like she met someone who's like, you're gonna come live with me, like, did she move so that she could be closer to him? So it was kind of like she had to relinquish the idea of like my family's dependent on me, and she had to go live independently for herself, so that then she can create the family that she has, but she had to like look and really think like, okay, all these years I've helped support my family. I've put this aside so I could be here, so my daughter could have this right now. Now I'm going to do something for myself. How does that kind of play with you, or just generally speaking? So that's what I was thinking more about, like Marianismo, like how as Latina women are we affected by the expectations that you can't be a virgin, you have to be a virgin, that you got to be the example for your family, because in a way, think about it, we also as women nos criticamos y nos comemos entre nosotras. You get me? If you do something, I'm sure when you got pregnant as a young mom, people were probably like, oh, look at her mom, look at what she did that, or maybe your mom was thinking, what are they gonna say about me? Because she's thinking like, oh, your action, like that's a consequence of me, a reflection of me.
My mom fucking told everybody I was pregnant. I was
She's
pissed.
like, I'm ready to be a grandma, popping bottles.
My mom was lit actually. Like, no, my mom was not upset at all. She was
then
fucking
my
happy.
My mom definitely was, because my mom was also a young mom.
Yeah.
So she just felt like I'm responsible for the actions of my daughter. That's reflective of me. Yeah. I failed. I was not a mother. I did not mother enough. I did not care for my family enough to the point where this could have happened, So that's more like what I mean about how we are reflections of other people's action as women, and like we have to sacrifice us, and even humility. Like, let's say, you're like, oh, Isis, I love this, or Vanessa, I really love you. You're like, oh, thank you. No, but you're also so great. And it's like, yeah, but I'm talking about you.
Yeah, like accept the compliment.
It's like small in it, because you don't want to be too big, so grand. But if a man comes in here and like, oh, bro, I do this. Oh, bro, that's so awesome. He's not gonna say, nah, bro, but you just ran.
Yeah.
And I just walked. A man's not gonna say that.
Yeah, no, literally.
A man's not gonna say that. So that's like also ways in which like we've internalized, those like practices.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I'm saying. It's like and it's directly tied to machismo, because even if you think about it, machismo, that's centered around men. Like, of course, we're familiar with the concept that's centered around men. Why are we not familiar as Latina women with the concept where women are centered? Like, we're, this is literally the physical embodiment of living under patriarchal values, that we as women must perform X, Y, Z because they're gendered. Yeah. So and it's complex. And it's complex because for a lot of people, like, they're immigrants, so it's like there's layers, right? Like, there's a lot of intersectionality, even between Marianismo, gender, immigration status, and all those things. Kind of this all, I feel, play like a pivotal part in like us as women and how we perform and like how we carry on to our families.
Do you think that women, do you think it's something they should unlearn if it's like been something that's been forced onto them?
I think you should, like how you explained how you're like, I love this, and if my role is to be a mother, like I'm gonna be happy. I don't think you need to unlearn that. I think you need to unlearn if it's to the detriment of
like
you.
if it feels wrong to you, like if it's something not sitting right with you.
Like if my husband, the expectation was after I just got done working at a long hard day, and he comes home, he's like, ¿Y mi comida? ¿A dónde tenés mi comida? No me tenés mi comida. Sos una basura. And me as a woman, I would accept that. I would allow him to disrespect me. I would allow him to minimize me. Because I'm like, well, as a woman, as his wife, I should have his plate served and I should eat. Or if he refused to eat unless I served him his plate.
That's insane.
Yeah, and then, so yeah, it's just like... Marianismo is how women enable patriarchy.
Exactly.
Patriarchy. Yeah, how we enable machismo, you know?
Definitely.
So that's different, whereas I have a relationship where my husband tells me, babe, you're tired, it's cool, let's just go get some food. Yeah. Or let's do this, let's do that. You know, that's not the expectation in my house, but yes, I love serving my man, you know? And it's fine if every other meal that it's not from his mom, it's from me, you know? Like,
do you like serving your man?
Yeah, I love it. I honestly used to hate cooking. I used to be those bitches like, I'm not gonna learn how to cook. I'm not gonna cook for no man. I'm not gonna... And then like, I'm like, shit, I got married and now my mama don't live with me and now I need to motherfucking cook for me and this man. Yeah. Now I'm like, no, this is a basic skill that people need to have.
No, like, literally, it's a basic skill. It's not even about... That's what I've come across some men, now that I'm back in the dating world, that still kind of expect these things. I had a man ask me recently, can you cook? And I was like, excuse me, can you cook, motherfucker? Like, it's just so funny. Like, when you come across men that aren't aware of these kind of things. And
they're not. I would say they are aware, and they're hyper aware, and they're hyper performative to like their role as men, right? For him to ask you that's...
I think they're unaware of how it can be really toxic for a situation, in the sense of how they don't see how it's a bad thing. You know what I mean?
What's a bad thing? To ask that?
To expect a woman to cook for them. Like in their perfect little world of patriarchy that has been, like, this world has been brought up on, to them that's just the norm, right? To find a woman, and if she loves you, she'll cook for you and she'll clean for you and she'll be a good housewife. And like, that's what to them is like, you know, the norm. Like, to them that's just what they're expecting.
And that's because their mom probably
exactly
worked all day, came home, cooked for them, then cleaned their clothes, did their laundry. So they don't think that's wrong because they don't think their mom...
Exactly. They just don't see it as an issue. That's just like kind of like what they're looking for in a woman. They're looking for a mother. Right. You know, not a partner, not someone that's going to be next to them, not below them.
Or they do think that is what a partner is. Yeah. Is that they still go to work and they still come home and cook, clean, and fuck.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's interesting. But I have met some good ones too. That's why I mentioned earlier, like, I've met guys as well that are, I get a different vibe from some men as well. I'm like, oh, like, there's some change happening in the world, you know?
Yeah, and this is like, this is not even about men. This is straight up about how we as women enable that and how we uphold patriarchal values.
Yeah, definitely.
And, like, we are our own detriment.
Definitely. And not just that, but it's like that saying of, when you have boundaries, it's not up to the other person to respect them. It's about you enforcing them. So if you've learned that, you know, you don't want to cook and clean and do all these things for a man, and that's your boundary, you have to uphold that boundary. You can't get mad at someone if they're not respecting it. If you come across a man that is expecting those things from you, and you know that you value other things like your career and things like that, it's up to you to protect your peace and uphold your boundary and let that man go. Right. Find one that's gonna respect what you want. Because I feel like moving into, I guess, a more different territory, it's always hard sometimes to listen to girls online vent about how a man is mistreating them. And it's like, at one point, is it about a man mistreating you, and then is it about you mistreating yourself? Because you're allowing this is your life, honey. Like, stand up, gain control of your life, and don't let a man walk all over you. Right. Absolutely. And it's like, so I can only buy the whole a man is mistreating me for so long until I'm like, girl, yeah, we need to do better.
Right. And like you said, sometimes we won't even identify that we're permitting this mistreatment because maybe we're used to seeing like abuse, neglect.
Like, relationships are hard. You know, like all those kinds of ways of thinking, like, it's hard, you just have to deal with it. Yeah, it'll get better.
Yeah, and I think too that does go back to, like, again, that idea of like, we're told, like, let's be honest, let's be straight up honest. How many of us had tias, moms, abuelas, primas, hermanas tell you, you're going to have to forgive men because men just cheat because that's a part of men. You've never heard that?
I'm so sorry, babe.
You never heard that?
My family has never told me that.
I have heard that. I could say for personal experience, I like my father, I'm telling you, he had a lot of indiscretions. And like, I truly do believe my mom was just like, well, that's just how men are.
And and again, that goes back to, you know, the way they've been conditioned to, not just from her own personal experience, I'm assuming, but
mothers,
her family members,
her sisters.
Yes, where it's become part of her way of thinking, where it's like, well, this is just how things are. Like, she can't, what's that word? She can't fathom, I guess, that a man can actually be faithful and like respect you and want to like take care of you. Yeah. And that's how those kinds of toxic ways of thinking, right, are being passed down. Yeah, because I mean, I can tell you other dumb shit my mom said, but at least in that respect, like cheating, I've never heard that.
Yeah, no, I definitely did, and I have a lot of friends, like, we've talked about this, where they're just like,
do you think it's cheat? No, I think every culture has. I was about to say, I think it's in Honduran. No, but no. I'm pretty sure other Mexicans have said shit like that.
All my other fucking friends are straight up Mexican. Like,
no, definitely
not. From their experience, but again, we're not monoliths. You know, we all have different experiences, and it's amazing that in your household that they didn't uphold that, the fact that men are gonna stray because you see, if he has an itch, he's gonna go scratch. Yeah, you know, and I could say that's something that I actively have fought. I'm like, no, because if now that I'm a woman, I'm like, men come to you, men flock to me. Like, it would be the easiest thing to be with another man.
Exactly.
You know, so I'm like, if I can choose, and then you know what? But that might be tied to the idea of chastity. How like I do uphold the idea of, actually I don't uphold the idea, but I just so happen to be in a long-term relationship. But I hold the idea of like, oh, I can't also be with just anybody. Not everyone can have access to me, or I can't be with everybody because then they're all gonna talk shit about me and I have less value. Okay, you know, because it's true. Like I do know, like even Megan Thee Stallion, she be in her songs a freak ass bitch. Shout out to Meg Thee Stallion. I'm glad Tory Lanez is in jail. But like even her, she's like, oh, my body count is low. Like I can count on my fingers.
Oh, she said that?
I think that was, or is it Lotto? I might be confusing her with Lotto. But even Megan Thee Stallion at first, she's like, I don't be fucking with just a bunch of people. And then after it came out, after like the trial that she's had sex with a lot of people, she's like, well, why are you guys surprised I fuck a lot? You ain't heard my music? You know? So that's, I'm just like, at some point she was trying to say, oh, in my music I'm a slut, but in real life I'm not as promiscuous, because she was trying to distinguish her persona from who she was as a woman.
Yeah, the internalized shame around those
exactly topics. And again, that's directly tied to Marianismo, where she's like, because I don't want people to think I'm a slut and I fuck everybody either, because she probably doesn't. She probably picks and chooses who she wants to fuck, you know. But the perception of that as a woman, her chastity, her value. What do they say? I don't want 100,000. I don't want a car with 100,000 miles on it.
Was lessened.
Exactly.
Damn, you guys, that's crazy. I hope you guys are listening to this conversation and really taking it in and taking account in your own life if this is something that you are upholding, and just ask yourself, is it serving you? Don't, without judgment, you know, just make an observation. You can stand like on the outside looking in at your life and just observe it, you know, and ask yourself, are these things that are serving me? And if they are, if you're content, more power to you, you know. But if they're not, if this is something that you want to change, remember, at the end of the day, this is your life. You are the one in control. It is hard to kind of, I guess, I feel like that's one of the things in my life where I'm at right now, where I'm working on not caring as much as what people think. And I feel like I'm doing pretty good. But when you're first starting off on that journey of doing what makes you happy and not caring about others' opinions, it's really, really hard. But take it day by day and it'll be worth it in the end. It'll really be worth it when you wake up one day and you make a choice and you think back time in the past, this choice, like, I would have been feeling this or that, this, and then to realize that you're now making choices and feeling nothing but empowered and content in your own joy in your own life because you're doing it for yourself. Yeah. So, yeah, besties, that was a really good I like that conversation. It's even making me question, like, are there other things that I'm doing that I, you know, feel some kind of way about? I'm like, no. The only thing that kind of came up to me was like serving my dad. I would do it sometimes, like when my mom was busy, like I'd serve him, but it never bothered me because I feel like my dad, he's like old school. And I feel like I've always yearned to connect with my dad because he's always been very dry, you know, never really, there wasn't really much depth to him. He's, you know, he would never open up. I really didn't know much about him. So I feel like I always tried to take anything I could to build connection with him. So if serving him was going to make him happy, it made me happy because, you know, he'd look at me and he'd smile and he'd say, thank you, mija. And like, you know, those little moments, those little crumbs of connection are what I took, you know, from those interactions. And that made me feel content to just feel any kind of closeness with him. Yeah. That to this day I still do, you know, like when I see my dad, you know, if he's already sitting down and the tortillas were now, I'll be like, don't worry, dad, like I'll do it. You know, it's like, it makes me feel good, you know, like, and my dad, or like I remember when when my dad would get home from work, he would have like, he would be tired, he would do construction, so I would always be like, let me take your boots off, dad. Like I would go and I'd untie his laces and to pull his boots off, and I would always want to do it like when he'd get home from work. And like thinking back, it was never something that I was like, oh fuck that dude, fuck that dude, why did you make me do that? No, like it was always like, okay, cool, like that was like our little bonding moments, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference, like the Marianismo is the expectation.
The expectation.
And you're saying like you're willingly doing that. And exactly. And again, it's not a critique on serving.
That's why definitely, guys, that's what I'm saying, like make the observations, and you can know by how you feel inside, like when you think about something that you did, if it felt good, if you didn't feel any kind of negativity, then most likely it's fine. It's not something that you have to stop doing just because the world is probably saying that, you know, women shouldn't do that anymore, you know. But if you think about it and you get like kind of like a weird feeling where it's like it's not really sitting right with you, then maybe it's something worth exploring and ask yourself like, why am I doing this? What are the consequences if I stop doing it, you know?
And I think too is like Latina women specifically thinking about how it's okay to move on beyond family, even though I'm very family oriented. If it's in between, if you are career focused, if you are interested in pursuing your dreams, and like maybe your family is like la barrera that's not letting you move forward, then it's time to do a reevaluation of like where you place yourself and your family, because you can still support your family and make sure that you're living the life that makes you happy. Because if your life is happy being a homemaker, absolutely enjoy that. Like we're all allowed to be different. Like that's what I'm saying. I genuinely love that you're saying like there's nothing more fulfilling than being a mother and being able to love and serve and others, because I see that about you. Like I see that you're like, that's your person to be nurturing, you know. Like that's why when I told him, like that's just a word that came to me, so it just makes so much sense that you're like, I love this, you know. And for me, like I don't have any children at this place, and I am not in a place where I'm, you know, where I want kids. And I also grew up in a home where my mom was a single mother and she had to have multiple jobs. So for me, my career was like, that's going to be my salvation. It's not going to be on a man. It's not going to be on nobody. It's going to be on me and my career. So I have to feed into me. I have to invest in me. I have to make sacrifices that even maybe I don't want to do, so that at the end of the day, you know, whatever happens to me, if someone chooses to no longer be a part of my life, I could still be self-sufficient, and I could be independent in the sense that like I can hold on to myself. I can uplift myself. I can do that. And again, that's a response to my trauma, a response of like seeing my mom have to constantly hustle and struggle and get 3, 4, 5 jobs to make ends meet. So to me, it's like, my career does matter. It is significant and it is important to me, and the family not necessarily so much, because I grew up with the concept of like children are a burden. Sometimes what if people don't want them? What if their father just want to be in their life? Like, you know, just scared, like that kind of mentality of being scared that someone's gonna leave and then there's gonna be this emptiness and I'm not gonna be able to fill. And so like my career is important to me, because my teacher from high school, she told me this quote and I'll never forget it. She said, the bank can repossess my house, CPS can take my kids, my husband can divorce me, but can't no one take my education from me. And so that's why to me it's important to be, you know, invested in my career, because I believe that I should be able to have me if nobody else got me. You know, and that's why like and when I think about Marianismo and how that affects me, and or how that affects other Latinas, you need to think like, what do I want with my life? Because if your life is fulfilled in something that even we didn't even touch upon, that's fine. Pursue that, you know? Because I can tell you, dreams is not even something I never thought I could dream. Yeah. Because I was always like, how can I dream if like I need to be able to pay this? I need to be able to pay that. Like, you know, kind of in that like hustle culture. Like I need to make it work. So I didn't even give myself space to feel like I could even dream. You know, so that's something that even I could take away from that. Like, I didn't think I could dream because I was thinking, how am I going to be able to help my family, survive my family? How can I help me? You know, so those are just things, like you said, to reflect and think about. Like, again, not being critical of others or yourself, but more like, it has this affected me in a way that it has been to my detriment. And how can I correct it, or how can I stop doing these things, or maybe saying the calladita más bonita, or ay, no se vista así, no se pinta las uñas así porque se va a ver como puta, no se vaya a, you know. So it's just like, how do we change and rephrase things so that we're not making others feel that they have to comply with what we were told that we had to do in order to be good girls, you know? So that was, you know, just something for the besties to think about.
Definitely besties to think about. And with that being said, we missed saying the quote of the day in the very beginning, but we are going to share it right now. It is, give me a second, I'm going to pull it up. But it is, we are enough as is, and we deserve reciprocity. Reciprocity. I was like, wait, did I say it wrong? Yeah, we deserve reciprocity. Why did you pick that quote?
I picked it because I thought it aligned with Marianismo of like, we're good enough as we are, not on the expectations that other people have set for us. And that just like we give everything, we're also deserving of people to give to us. Because sometimes we only give, and we're not comfortable because, again, we're told to be humble, to take what you're given. And sometimes you need to understand that you're deserving even of what you give and more than what you've ever received. Never feel that you have to be so humble that you can't accept it. Take it. You're gorgeous, you're beautiful, you're nurturing our country. Take it. That's it.
Definitely.
Don't feel like you have to fight it.
And don't give expecting to get something, like overperforming, right? Like, if I do this and this and this for this person, they're finally going to see me and they're going to start giving it back to me. I think that's not how it works. I think if you're giving to someone and they have shown you that they're not pouring back into you, you need to leave. That's not going to change. I think when you pour into yourself and you do things for yourself because you love yourself and you want to be the best version of yourself, you'll naturally attract men or women that are doing that for themselves. And because they're doing that for themselves, they know how important it is to pour, and not just into themselves, but they will be able to pour into someone else. So I think I'm a huge advocate for you get what you are, in a sense, right? So it's like the work starts within us. The work starts within us to put ourselves first, to really take into account what's important to us, what makes us happy, where do we want to put our focus on, and go from there, you know, and everything else will fall into place naturally.
Yes, totally agree. On a lighter note, did you girls see that Rosalia gave her new man the same pin as her old man? They were both wearing a Tiffany and Co. golden poppy brooch. Like, is that branding? Is Rosalia branding her men? Is that what we need to start doing in 2024? Let me know.
Marking territory. It's like she's peeing on all of them, so everybody knows this one's mine. This one's mine. That's hilarious.
What do you think?
I think it's hilarious because, like, she obviously knows, like, there's a lot of attention on, you know, she's a celebrity in her relationships. So I think it's really funny. Maybe she didn't think about it that deeply, but I think it's just funny how she might know that the possibility of paparazzi, like, you know, noticing that, or someone making that clocking that and posting about it, and yet she was like, I don't give a fuck.
Hey, I just have to say, cheers to her. I need to know her secret sauce. Like,
no,
if her other man because Rao has a rose tatted on her, so on him. So if her new man gets a rose, I need to know her and Belinda's secret. Belinda, all Belinda's boyfriends have had a tattoo of her. Chris Angel, like, I don't know the rest of her man, but like all of them have either got her eyes, her name, like something. Like, that bitch has powerful, majestic pussy, and I need to know what's in her potion. I know what's in her potion. What did he get?
My name means butterfly in Greek. And what's it called? We had broken up, and then he fucking wrote me an email. like a week before.
Did you block him on everything?
Yeah, I blocked him on everything. And he wrote me an email, and I never saw it because I wasn't on my emails like that at the time. It was like around the holiday, so bitch, the last thing I was doing was checking my emails.
Right.
And then my sister came up to me and she was like, "Oh, dude, like, you know, so and so reached out and was like upset because they wrote you an email and you never responded, and you know, they were just wanted to ask me like how you were doing and stuff." And I was like, "Whoa, like." Let me look it up. Let me see the email. And I found it. And he wrote me like a whole fucking essay and shit. And of course, I was like, I ate that shit up. I was young.
Like, let me go ahead and respond.
I was like, I guess he wants me that bad. Like. And then when we got back together, like a week later, he had a tattoo appointment. And I hadn't seen the plans for like the tattoo until we got there. Mm-hmm. And like gobsmacked right here, a big ass butterfly. And he was like, "Oh, I wanted to show you and like surprise you. Like, I'm getting this so you can like, I'm really about you. Like, I love you. You're always gonna be a part of me. Like, and I just wanted to show you like that I'm serious this time."
So I mean, look
at us now.
I'm like, never so it didn't work out.
Never believe a man getting a tattoo, you know, and significance of you really doesn't mean shit.
Hey, no, my man, he better.
Literally, make sure you got that ring on first. Maybe it'll mean something then. But if y'all just dating, nothing is locked in.
He's
sorry.
Not that serious. He's gonna tell the next bitch that he just had a phase where he loved butterflies.
He loves nature, so he just got every fucking animal tatted on him.
Damn.
No, but yeah, so that shit is funny as fuck.
So basically, we're all gonna be buying Vanessa's bathwater.
No. No, you know what's funny? I don't know why it's like not even related, but this Rosalia story made me think about when I was young. There was this boy at my church that had like a really big crush on me. Mm-hmm. And I remember I liked him so much. I don't know why this always happens to me. Like, I always become really cool with like my guy friends. Even it's always happened at such a young age. Mm-hmm. And they always end up liking me. And it upsets me so much because I don't like them like that. Yeah. And then it just ruins everything. And I'm just like, dude, like, that's another topic I want to get into maybe for the next episode. Like, why men can't just be friends with a woman. Like, it's very upsetting. Like, they're losing out on so much from a boy-girl relationship just for thinking that it's impossible to be friends with a woman. And it's very irritating to me. But anyway, there was this boy. I think I was like maybe like 11 or 12 at the time. Mm-hmm. And he was like 13. And we went to the same church together. And I've been knowing like his mom would always be like, "Oh, like so-and-so like loves you. Like, you know, they really like you." And I would always be like, "Oh, stop." Like, you know, like please, like, stop it. I can't keep up with all of that. I just like, but I remember he was like a good friend to me. Mm-hmm. And then it was Valentine's Day. And homeboy and his mom just showed up to my fucking house, and he brought me a bear and a letter, and the bear said, "I love you." And he just brought it to me. And I was just like incredibly like embarrassed because I've made it more than clear that I did not reciprocate the feelings. So boy, why the fuck are you in my house?
And why is his mom enabling
Why are you encouraging it, thinking, oh, like she's gonna fall for it eventually? Like, no. And I'm a child, bitch. I'm not even fucking like, we're not even grown like that. So like, you know, I get the bear, and they say, because I lived with my grandma at the time. And my grandma, you know, they're comadres from the church or whatever. So my grandma invites them in for coffee. And I literally went to my room and I locked myself in my room. I was like, okay, I got the bear, but I'd be damned if I'm going to be sitting here at this table acting like I give a fuck, because I don't. Damn. And I went into my room, bitch, and I did not see them. I didn't get out until they left. And I was just like, thank you. And it was, honestly, it was so fucking embarrassing for me, like, to... my whole family watched me get this bear when everyone knows that I don't like him. And bitch, I was fucked up though, because the next day my sister was gonna go to school and see her boyfriend, you know, and she was like, "Bro, I didn't buy him anything." Like, she was like, "I didn't buy him anything," and she was like, "And he told me that he got me something, and he was excited like to give it to me." And she was like, "And I fucking didn't buy him anything." And I was like, "Good for you, you're in luck, because I have a bear."
Shut the fuck up.
I was like, "I have a bear that says I love you," and this card. And I gave it to her, and she gave it to her boyfriend.
Hey, clearly that one didn't work out either. So the negative energy transferred.
No, yeah. So I made lemonade out of some lemons, so for sure.
Hey, the bear served its purpose to
literally.
give to someone that they love.
They love it. It spread love. It spread cheer for sure.
Period. Hey, shout out to that bear. Shout out to your little church crush.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry it couldn't be you, boo.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry to that man.
I hope he's doing good. I don't know where he's doing.
She's like, I hope you're doing good, but far from me.
No.
Anyways.
No, yeah, that was good old time.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think. I remember one. Oh no, I'll save this for when we get closer to Valentine's Day. I have a bear story too.
You do?
Yeah, with Rex, but that'll be closer to Valentine's Day, just so it could be theme relevant.
Okay, for sure. Do you guys plan? Like, do you guys celebrate like
Valentine's Day?
Yeah, and stuff like that? Or do you feel like, because I'm always wondering, like, I know there's some marriages, where they're very, like, they're on it when it comes to those kinds of things. But do you feel like you guys are like that? Or you guys
we always go out, like,
a good dinner
the Valentine's Day weekend, but we don't really do, like, a gifts exchange.
It's not like a big deal.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. I feel like, too, when you're little, it's a big deal. When you're little and broke, yeah, you care about it. I'm like, now that I have money, I'm like, that's good. I mean, I can have, like, I don't really have, like, expectations for Valentine's. I feel like a nice dinner and that's it. Yeah, we're not really, like, even for anniversaries, we're not really too crazy. We just go out to eat,
Yeah, definitely. I want to start, because I'm on Hinge. I want to start, like, a segment of, like,
saying rating your Hinge dates.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
literally. Let me read to you this fucking message, you guys. That
show us the cringest one so far.
This one wasn't cringy. It was fucking funny. But let me show you what happened. He messaged me, and he said, he just said B3. And I was like, I replied a question mark and like a crying emoji because I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? He said, it's referring to cheese. I was moving a piece so that I could make a move on my queen.
Oh, to chess?
I didn't catch that because I was at the gym working out. So I just kind of briefly read it and I was like, cheese, queen, move on the queen. What the fuck are you talking about?
Not you.
So I said, unfortunately, I'm still lost, sir. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. He said, LMFAO, I'm not that smooth, I guess. I meant chess.
I'm dead. Hey, not her like with the autocorrect.
I was like, he thought he ate, but no.
Wait, do you have your social media linked to your Hinge? Like where they can see your
page?
Fuck
no. Okay. And I don't even have on there that I have a child, nothing. Because honestly, I'm on here for shits and giggles. Okay. I don't think it matters. Like my son has a dad. I'm not looking for a dad. Right. And once I start dating someone, it's like especially like on Hinge, I feel like I'm very worried about apps. The likelihood of it going beyond like something like casual is like very decimal. Like like very like not likely. So I don't give a fuck to bring up like my child, honestly. And I feel like if it is a person that really likes me and it goes beyond casual and into something serious, if they're the person for me, they'll respect that I have a child.
Right. Yeah. No, I totally agree. Hey, that sounds good. Well, I guess we'll be seeing more of the Hinge series.
I'm definitely gonna create a series where I just show you guys and like we'll just make fun. Maybe on the Patreon I might even show pictures and we might rate.
Wait, we should do like a little segment where we go over the guys and we say swipe left or right and then we like chat with them. That would be fun.
I am so down, you guys. So definitely sign up for the Patreon, you guys. We are definitely going to be pumping out more content there. We have so many things in store that we're excited to film for you guys. And I think with that being said, we're going to wrap up today's episode. Just a cute little short one for you guys. Miss Isis girl is flying out of Sacramento, so she got to do some things at home before she takes off in the morning. So we're gonna respect that, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode. We love you guys so much, and we hope you have a great rest of your week. And
don't forget to like, share, subscribe. You can follow me on all things Isis.
And you can follow me at bloomingvc.vic on Instagram.
Yeah, and drop down below, like, what are examples that you girls, or I guess men too, have faced with Marianismo? Have you heard the Calladita Más Bonita? Ya se puede casar? Let us know. Drop it in the comments below. Definitely. Bye, besties.
Bye, love y'all.